Coming to you live from the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University, it's Hockey Night in Fitchburg here on FATV. I'm John Gugerty, joined by Dan Bolak. And Dan, to kick off our broadcast tonight, we have a first-round match in the Mark Bushnoe Memorial Tournament, an incredible event and a wonderful start to our hockey coverage this season here on FATV.
It's become a bit of a tradition for us here on FATV. We start our hockey coverage with the Bushnoe Tournament, held every year by Lunenburg Ayer Shirley. Now 20 years they've been doing this tournament. Always invited is Monty Tech Fitchburg, always invited is Leominster. We'll see them in the second game, and of course the host side, Lunenburg Ayer Shirley. And in the first game of this tournament, we have the Monty Tech Fitchburg Bulldogs taking on the invited guest, the Hudson Hawks.
Hudson starts their season with a record 1-2. They are 1-1 in the Midwatch C. Monty Tech Fitchburg, on the other hand, have lost their first 3 games in a row. They are 0-2 in the CMAC A. Dan, tell us a little bit about the CMAC A.
Yep, so that's a new thing this year. You know, we used to have the Coughlin, the Russell, and the other leagues that existed because hockey sort of had a different league structure in years past. But earlier this year, basically, all of the small leagues, basically, in Central Mass that made up District 2 merged into one super league, the Central Mass Athletic Conference. And now with that merger happening, the leagues have been restructured in ice hockey, so now they go by the 2 dominant leagues in Central Mass, the Central Mass Athletic Conference and the Midland-Wachusett Interscholastic League. So with that, Monty Tech Fitchburg, since Monty Tech is the host team and they're part of the CMAC, so they're in the CMAC structure now. Hudson used to be in the Russell, while the other 3 that are in this tournament used to be in the Coughlin. But now Hudson's a Midwatch school, so they now play in the Midwatch with the other 2 teams that came over from the Coughlin into the Midwatch C, which are Lunenburg Ayer Shirley and Leominster, among others.
They're joined in there by Oakmont, Gardner, and Littleton and Bromfield. It's very tricky with these hockey teams because there are ands in the middle of the name, so you have to say your words very carefully. We'll do our best. Monty Tech Fitchburg in the CMAC A is joined by Auburn, Hopedale Milford, and Blackstone Valley. How do we do on that?
Yep, those are those groups that come together there, and and there are other co-ops and other things involved that don't make their way into the main name and what have you. It's all very weird. It all comes down to branding and other things. In fact, Hudson, they have a co-op. They have members of Tohoto Regional High School.
That's right. We got a chance to speak with the Hudson head coach a little bit before the game. They're coached by George Biondas in his first season. Monty Tech Fitchburg is also led by a first-year head coach, although also a familiar one if you've been following the Bulldogs over recent seasons.
Yes, Mike Colcourt's the head coach this season for the Bulldogs. He swapped places with Noah Saracen, who was the head coach the last year and a half, and Coach Saracen's still there with the Bulldogs. He's just stepped back to an assistant coach's role this year. And so effectively they just swapped places, kind of like how the FBI heads swapped places when their names were listed wrong on the website when that happened earlier this year. It's been a long year.
That is an understatement, we say, here on this Boxing Day. By the way, happy Boxing Day to you. We hope your Christmas was a merry one, a healthy, a happy, and safe one. We've got 3, 2, 4. I can count. 4 exciting games of hockey for you over the next 2 days here on FATV. We will have both of the semifinals of the Bushnoe Memorial Tournament tonight. Tomorrow we will have the consolation game for 3rd place and the championship game. Our coverage tomorrow begins 2 p.m. Eastern here on FATV.
Indeed. So these are 2 teams that, they've gone off to a little bit of a slow start. Hudson's 1-2. Lost to Littleton, Bromfield, and Blackstone Valley Tech, the latter in overtime, before in the middle of that whooping Gardner. Meanwhile, for Monty Tech Fitchburg, a very strong schedule to start out. Blackstone Valley Tech, they lost 5-0 to them, lost 6-0 at Drake at Tingsboro up at the Songa Center in Lowell, and then most recently was able to get on the board and force overtime against Hopedale Milford, but the Raiders came away with a 4-3 win, and that's, Hopedale Milford are just the Raiders, so that's not confusing at all, right?
Not in the least. These are the Bulldogs. They're the Raiders. They're completely different teams. Why would anyone think Raiders when they think Monty Tech Fitchburg? Frankly ridiculous. We'll send it down to our public address announcer, Jim LaPointe, for the introduction of the starting lineups and then the playing of our national anthem. It is Hockey Night in Fitchburg here on FATV.
The Hudson High Hawks against the Monty Tech Fitchburg High School Bulldogs. The student athletes involved in tonight's contest understand the importance of sportsmanship and know that it should be practiced at all times. Please help our students by showing respect to all participants and spectators at tonight's contest and cheering only in a positive manner. Now the starting lineup for the Hawks. At defense, number 11, Ryan Devaney. Defense, number 15, Luke Lewis. At forward, number 4, Tom Chamberlain. At forward, number 20, Braden Diodato. At forward, number 24, Toby Eddy. And in goal for the Hawks, number 33, Brandon Garcia. For the Bulldogs, starting at right wing, number 3, Jackson Stubert. At center, number 18, Cody Ablaza. Left wing, number 15, Ben Jeanette. At defense, number 24, Ethan Joseph. At defense, number 17, Jackson Leader. And in goal, number 30, Avery Aiken. The head coach is Mike Colcord. Officials for tonight's game, Wayne Andrews and Brandon Phillips. Ladies and gentlemen, students, at this time, I'd ask you all to please stand as we honor our nation and the flag with the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner.
Hockey Night in Fitchburg here on FATV. I'm John Dugerty, joined as always by Dan Bullock. Happy to be here with you for our first broadcast of the season from the Wallace Civic Center, just off John Fitch Highway here in Fitchburg, Mass. If you're in Fitchburg, we absolutely encourage you to come on down. If not, you know someone who may be out of town and interested in the Bushnoe tournament, you can go to fatv.org/watch-FATV. That'll have all the places where you, Dan, can watch FATV. Yep. You could be watching FATV while also being on FATV. That would be weird, but it's possible.
It can be done. Gives us a little bit of a, I guess, sort of an instant replay for ourselves if we really want to, but we just got to make sure we're looking at the right time.
That's not the worst idea I've ever heard, actually.
Monty Tech Fitchburg is in the dark red uniforms with white numbers and trim. They'll go left to right in the first period of play. Hudson in the white uniforms with red numbers and trim will go right to left in the opening 15. And we are underway. As the puck goes all the way back into the defensive zone, Toby Edie trying to pick that away for the Hawks. Jackson Stubert up for Benjiane, but intercepted by Braden Diodato. Now Edie backhands it into the zone. Jackson Leader, captain of the Bulldogs, knocks it down. He's one of 3 Fitchburg High kids on the varsity roster this season for the team still clad in crimson and white. Out to the neutral zone, picked up at the blue line, pushed forward by Ryan Devaney, but intercepted. Here's Cody Ablaza with a shot save, rebound, and not be able to follow up on that was Benjiane.
That was a very dangerous rebound, Dan. Luke Lewis, the captain for the Hawks, did great defensive work getting in front of it.
Puck will come out to the far side for Nick Atkins. Atkins will send it around to the left side, but taken by the Hawks. That shot goes off of the skate of Avery Aiken, off of the post, goes on the goal line, but does not go across the goal line. Timmy O'Malley was that close to having his 5th goal of the season.
That took an incredible
deflection. No goal on the play, no goal.
Right in front of the crease. Couldn't tell if it was Souza or O'Malley who got a skate to it.
A great opportunity for Hudson in the opening minute and change. That close to getting the opening goal. Matt Daniels on the far side for Stefanillo, another one of the Fitchburg High kids. The third one is Avery Aiken, the starting netminder for the Bulldogs. The right side circle, not able to get anything off, is Jordan Souza. He's a junior, already over 100 career points. Souza pounds it off the boards, looking for Braylon Massey. Can't do much with it. They'll double back to the neutral zone. Devin Morton. We'll go back to Massey. Now flipped forward. Holden Trahan behind the net. Over skates it, has a bit of trouble controlling it. But Trahan will get it back. Go on the near side. Jordan Samet lofts it out of the zone for Nick Atkins. Atkins up the left side. Tries to backhand in the direction of Brandon Garcia. Nothing going there. Trahan with a shot. That's gobbled up by Garcia. And he'll hold for a draw with 2:01 gone in the first.
Massey was just trying to clear the zone, just get that puck as far away from net as possible. He wound up passing it right to Trahan. Reared up, took a, not quite a full strength slap shot, but it had some velocity behind it.
3 15-minute periods in MIAA ice hockey. Draw comes to the left of Garcia. Won by the Hawks. They can't get it out of the zone. Edie will try to settle it down on the second effort. He'll get it out. Ethan Joseph tries to lay the boom there. Vinny Caraba with a touch on for the Bulldogs. Colin Bean battling for it as well as Luke Lewis sends it into the Bulldog zone. Jackson Leader behind his own net for Ethan Joseph. Tries to push it forward. That's intercepted. Lewis with a strong shot. That's kicked aside by Aiken. Now thrown into the slot. Nobody there in white for Hudson to try to pounce on it. So comes out to the near side. Bean off the boards. Picked up at the red line by Devaney. Up to the far side, Chamberlain with a touch. Dylan Grant there trying to win the puck. Caraba able to move it along. And it seemed like Caraba and Chamberlain got caught up in some weird way. They had to undo that before they could continue on. Flipped up down the ice, long stretch pass off the stick of Chamberlain. Wasn't able to get a hold of it. Close enough so it avoids the icing. It is a delayed offside against Hudson. They can't touch it, which is why you just saw Braden Diodato skate by the puck. Not make an attempt because he couldn't. Shot by Stubbert, blocked down in front. GNA trying to win it back on the near side. Trahan keeps it in the zone. GNA whiffs on the pass to try to dump it further into the zone and finally pounded off the boards out of the zone by Souza. Here's O'Malley on the left side. From the left dot, a shot stopped by Aiken. To the near side, Cody Ablaza, a second-year varsity player. He's a freshman, but played last year for Gardner. Got a couple of assists with the Wildcats. Continues a long-standing tradition that we'll talk about when we have a moment. Jordan Souza on the right side, dropped off O'Malley. Shot saved by Aiken. Rebound, scores! Aiken makes the initial save, and Jordan Souza follows up for his 6th goal of the season. Hudson's got the first goal.
Hawks had a golden opportunity fall into their laps just a moment ago. Weren't able to capitalize on that one, but they have been the more aggressive side here in the opening few minutes, and their efforts are rewarded with the first goal of this contest.
They've got 4 of the first 6 shots in this contest, and now they have the first goal to speak of as well. Ablaza off the boards, as Stubbert has to skate around one of our referees. And tangled up enough with Tom Chamberlain.
Hawks goals,
a penalty will be given.
Assisted by number 8, Tom O'Malley, time number 347.
Jackson Stubbert will go to the box for a hook. First power play goes to the Hawks with 10:54 to go in the first period. Just getting his stick tangled up there with Chamberlain. And really just trying to shut down a dangerous scoring opportunity there. And now we see how Hudson does on the man advantage. Salmon is able to knock it just out of the zone. Hudson has to tag back up, and they don't do so legally. Souza carried it in, but I think just a bit of a hesitation on the blue line got the timing off.
And Timmy O'Malley was about a body length over the blue line when Souza entered the zone. They'll pull him back out to neutral ice for the face-off.
Michael Melville, left winger, on this power play line for Hudson.
Bulldog penalty number 3, Jackson Stewart. 2-minute minor for hooking. Time of the penalty, 4:06. First
Out
period.
the right point, shot through a lot of traffic by Morden. Goes wide of the cage, comes back to Morden at the point. On the left side, pass intercepted, knocked down by Samet. 16 knocking the pass away from 16. That was Braylon Massey who was trying to make that pass there going D to D. But now Souza regains the zone. Angle tightens up as he skates around to the right wing corner. Gets it out to the right point. Now back to Souza on the right dot. Shot stopped by Aiken. 9:56 to go in the first. 1:03 to go on the man advantage for Hudson. They lead 1-0.
This Monty Tech Fitchburg powered penalty kill unit has done pretty well thus far, not allowing too many shots in that first minute of the man advantage for the Hawks.
Bit of a wrestling match at the blue line. Chamberlain got tied up there with Cody Ablaza. And ultimately they had to bring a stop to play with all of that going on.
You mentioned it is Boxing Day. I saw Chamberlain throw a couple left hooks in there. You'd be surprised if he doesn't go to the sin bin, and off he goes. See him pleading his case there with one of our referees.
He'll go for roughing, and I think what's frustrating him is he's the only one going.
He doesn't even know where the penalty box is.
Well, the thing is, Stubbard actually sat in the wrong box. He's supposed to be in the box to the left because they're the home team. The home team box is on the left, the visiting team box is on the right. It's like, well, make him switch. I don't want to switch. All right, so we'll just do it this way. I mean, you know, they're wearing the opposite jerseys of what you would expect anyway, so it all gets weird.
Dad, he's in my chair. We'll sit in his chair. I don't want to sit in his chair. It's the same basic thing, right?
Yeah, let's say it is. This isn't even the first time that, of the 4 games that Monty Tech Fitchburg has played this year, 3 of them have involved them wearing the jerseys that are opposite of what you would expect them to wear. Ablaza with a shot that goes through the paint and comes all the way out to Leader. He takes the shot from the left point. That's stopped by Garcia. Bulldogs couldn't control the rebound.
Tom Chamberlain, 2-minute minor for roughing. Time of that penalty, 5:13, first period.
So yeah, with the boxing match that occurred on the blue line, ultimately they determined Chamberlain was the only one guilty of a penalty on all of that. So he's the one who goes to the box alone.
And I'll tell you, Chamberlain is fortunate to only be serving 2 minutes.
Trahan tries to shoot, but he whiffs on the shot. Puck pinballs around, comes back to him, gets the shot off, save, rebound, scores! First varsity goal for Cody Ablaza! 6 minutes gone in the first, we're level at 1.
As a goal scorer, Dan, you could not ask for a juicier rebound than what Cody Ablaza got. Puck fell right to his stick off the blocker of Garcia. All he had to do was pick a spot from point-blank range, and he put it in the back of the net.
And they're going to save that puck for him. Never forget your first varsity goal. And Ablaza will be quite happy with that. But now Jordan Souza says, I want to take it right back. Look at the moves he puts on, tries to complete the wraparound, can't do so, and Trahan able to get a strong block there on O'Malley's follow-up. Taken back away, bounces off the boards, nets come off, as Aiken was just trying to seal off that post. They don't really use the professional style moorings here in high school. They try to use the magnet style moorings, which means the nets come off a little easier. They're safer, but it does mean you'll get a few more stoppages in play.
Probably a good trade.
It's health and safety and all. It is now a power play for Monty Tech Fitchburg for the next 56 seconds. Cody Ablaza's got his first goal. Holder Trahan will pick up an assist on that. But there's an interception. Souza, he's got all the moves. And he takes the shot. He's not able to get that to go. Couldn't tell if it was post or if it got a piece of Aiken.
I think that was a rejection, a good save by Avery Aiken.
Yep. Mr. LaPointe agrees. He puts the shot on the board for Hudson. They are now out shooting the Bulldogs 6-5, but with 8:15 to go in the first period, we're level at 1. Trahan Out in the right corner, Stubbart having a bit of trouble keeping his edge. Now O'Malley will have it on the near side. Gains the red line, puts it across. Souza's got a lot of space again. Shot save, and the rebound, they score! Shorthanded goal for Timmy O'Malley, as Aiken was able to stop a lot of Souza's shot, but wasn't able to stop all of it.
Dan, after Cody Ablaza's goal, I said you could never ask for a juicier rebound. Sometimes you do get one. And in that instance, Timmy O'Malley had the puck not only fall right on his stick, right in front of net, but he was behind the goaltender. No one in front of him, all the twine in the world, and he found some of it to give Hudson the lead.
Hawks goal was by number 8, Tom O'Malley, assist to number 5, Jay Souza. Time of that goal was 7 minutes of the first period.
Ablaza from Trahan was the Monty Tech Fitchburg goal. There might have been a second assist, I didn't hear it. 8 from 5 is the other one, of course. An inversion of the first goal for Hudson. O'Malley from Souza. Souza's already got 12 points on the season in just the 4 games played. Colin Bean on the left side. Gets the shot off. Garcia is able to pad that away. But now in front, Caraba trying to get to that puck. Good positioning by Hudson. 2 different players there in Cam McGuire and Toby Eady, able to take up the space and not let Caraba get to it.
Sometimes as a defender you have to get rid of the puck. Sometimes you have to get rid of the man. That time they got rid of the man.
Shot from the right circle is stopped by Aiken. Around the boards, left wing corner. Matt Daniels, senior defenseman, put it off the boards. Next touch pass intercepted. Souza out in front, shot turned aside by Aiken off the stick of Michael Melville. 6:33 to go, first period, 2-1 Hudson in front. 4 players trying to dig out the puck on the left side boards. Raylan Massey not able to get much of a shot off towards goal.
Saw him pound the ice with his stick. He was frustrated with that.
Delayed offside against Hudson. Puck just barely went all the way over the blue line and then dumped back in, so they had to tag up. Morton on the left side tried to find Souza. You cannot let Jordan Souza get open, because look at all the moves he can put on you. And now Souza settles it down, gets the shot off, goes behind the net. Daniels around the boards, but Souza's waiting right there at the right point. He winds and fires. That one's blocked. Samet got in the way of that. Morton tries to get it through all the traffic, doesn't find its way through the other side. O'Malley out to the left side off the stick of Morton. He can't keep control of it, and he ends up running into the official for good measure. Official says, yeah, it's my bad, I was there. And icing called against Monty Tech Fitchburg. Remember, in Federation rules, line changes are permissible after an icing.
And we mentioned it is Boxing Day, and I've already made one boxing metaphor. Here's another one for you. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. And it seemed like for Fitchburg, for Monty Tech Fitchburg rather, the literal punch in the face kind of woke the Bulldogs up. They were a lot more aggressive after that penalty by the Hawks. But after the metaphorical punch in the face, Monty Tech Fitchburg scoring their first goal, we've seen Hudson reclaim the advantage, really push it on the offensive end. They were able to take the lead, and they're still forcing it into Monty Tech Fitchburg's zone.
Shots 9-6 in favor of Hudson. 5:10 to go in the first period, 2-1. Goals by Souza and O'Malley for Hudson. Ablaza for Monty Tech Fitchburg. Delayed offside against the Bulldogs. Can't touch it up there. So here's Devin Morton, gains the red. Sends it all the way around the boards. Leader gets a touch on it. Hudson trying to get it out of the zone. Trying to get in the zone, trying to get something settled. Leader pushing up. He's got GNA with him. Leader able to win that puck, pass it into the slot. Stubbart was there, but he misread where the puck was going to go. Now that one dumped in, and Juicy off of Aiken and then pushed back towards him. Aiken's got it battened down this time. A couple more saves for the freshman keeper.
You were speaking with Noah Saracen and Mike Colcord, the head coach of the Bulldogs this season, and something he said that stuck with me about this 0-3 start for the Bulldogs is we're young, so we're learning, and I think you saw a little bit of a learning moment there for the freshman goaltender Avery Aiken.
Bulldogs graduated all 3 of their goaltenders, but fortunate to have 2 freshmen coming up here to take charge in the crease. Avery Aiken's gotten all the starts thus far. Ryder Mallett is the other netminder, also a freshman keeper. And he's getting a lot of the reps at the JV level in the early going of this season. Chris Stefanillo trying to get to that puck for Monty Fitchburg. Not much going there, cleared down the way because Leader made a strong attempt at that puck. They'll wave off the icing. Now settled down behind the net by the Hawks, tried to center, nothing going there. Now that's cleared out, backhanded down the ice, and will die before the goal line, so no icing there either. Hudson will have to bring it back up ice. Here's Souza. Souza gains the blue, lost his footing, and they'll say that Dylan Grant helped him fall down there with an errant stick, and he's going to sit for 2 minutes for that.
Well, you said don't let him get open. It's one way to stop him from getting open. It's not a legal way to do it, but, you know. Now, what I find interesting is his name's not Hookin Trahan, but they've got Holden Trahan in the penalty box.
Yes, and they it looked like the penalty was going to be on Dylan Grant. I thought for sure the penalty was going to be on Grant, but they actually called the penalty on Trahan somewhere else in all of that. In fact, they put Grant on the board, but Trahan's the one who ended up going over to the box. So weird how that goes. Great save by Aiken. Another shot saved by Aiken. And still pushing forward, they score! Didn't really matter who ended up in the penalty box. Hudson's able to find the back of the net again. Diodato leads the handshake line. It's 3-1 Hawks.
Aiken made the first save with the full extension of the right leg, and then he was able to get back up, make the chest save, but unable to control the rebound, giving the Hawks chance after chance after chance. Diodato was finally able to put it home.
3-1 to Hudson now. Hudson bringing
Bulldogs
back so much talent.
20 Dylan Grant. That was a 2-minute liner for hooking at 11:34 in the first period.
They'll call the penalty that
Hudson,
we thought it was.
Goal was scored by number 20, Braden Diodato. Assist to number 4, Tom Chamberlain. And time of that power play goal, 11:52, first period.
So Diodato gets the goal from Chamberlain. Then you saw a nice offensive chance there for the Bulldogs. Garcia made the initial save, and then stuff happened after that.
Vinny Caraba came crashing in, looking to secure the rebound. He wound up plowing over Garcia. Thought he might get a penalty for it. Instead, he just got a stern talking to by a man in a striped shirt.
It's one of those, hey, don't do that. Faceoff will come to the right of Garcia. He's made 6 saves in the contest. Aiken's made 12 on the other side. Bulldogs win the draw but can't control it, as O'Malley tries to push it on the far side, and that puck finds its way over the boards. .2:33 to go in the first, 3-1 Hudson. Last time out, Monty Fitchburg lost 4-3 in overtime to Hopedale Milford. Ben Giannet had a goal and assist. Matt Daniels, Jackson Stubbard each had goals. Avery Aiken had 52 saves in that contest. 56-21 were the final shots in that game. I know in the early going of the season, the shot board has been pretty lopsided. But Monty Fitchburg, as we've mentioned, playing a lot of tough teams and a lot of strong teams with strong offenses. There's a couple more shots, a couple more saves for Aiken, and a couple more examples of Boxing Day.
I think we need to remind these guys that it is Boxing Day, not whack each other with sticks day. That's in March.
Yep, after ice hockey season's over, too, for good measure.
Just to be safe. Holden Trahan will reacquaint himself with the penalty box.
Timmy O'Malley wants an explanation from the official. He may have also thought, I'm supposed to go in that box, aren't I? No, it's not. It's a whole thing.
One of my guys was in there earlier.
So they'll both go for roughing. We'll see if other stuff gets added to all of that. We'll still play 5 aside because that's a federation thing. Matching minors don't create a 4-on-4.
That's silly.
It's like they do in the NHL, they do it in college hockey, but they won't do it here. The federation just is different.
Hawks penalty number 8, T. O'Malley. They each get 2 minutes for roughing at 12:45 of the first period.
Yep. So it's just the roughing there. Great one-timer that Aiken was able to stop, and as he was making the athletic move to stop it, he knocked the net off.
You mentioned the magnetic moorings and the looser net at this level than perhaps at higher levels. I think that cost the Hawks a really good opportunity. We're winding up to take another slap shot at a wide open net when the whistle blew to kill the play.
That being said, the Bulldogs, I don't believe, are allowed to change after the stoppage for that reason. So they've got to get the legs that were on the ice back on the ice. They have to undo the line change they were going to do after the whistle.
Atkins and Samet will come back out for Monty Tech Fitchburg.
Draw one by the Bulldogs, and they're able to get it down the ice. That will die before the goal line. So icing is waived. Leader into the right wing corner, tries to center through the slot. Nothing there. Daniels kept it in, still keeps it in, but now taken away. Here's a 2-on-1 coming. Dianato on the right side, got it across, not enough room for Chamberlain, and behind him too.
Good job by Daniels too to kind of pull up and adjust to that pass behind him, make sure he was able to help clear it out.
Here's Stefanillo with a 2-on-2. He gets a shot off, and that's snared out of the air by Brandon Garcia. 68 seconds to go, first period, 3-1 Hudson.
Of course, folks, the winner of this game will take on the winner of our second game tonight, Lunenburg Air Shirley versus Leominster. That game will be for the championship here in the Mark Bushnoe Memorial Tournament. These are all regular season games.
Yep.
1 minute.
All
Last
the regular
minute of play,
season
first
games.
period.
And then for the LAS in, well, actually, we'll get to that in a moment, as there's a good move there to the goal, but not able to get the release. Now a one-timer, scores! It's Jordan Souza again with a sharp one-timer, 49.7 to go in the first, 4-1 Hudson.
Jordan Souza putting the mid-watch on notice early in this season. He's got 3 points already in this one, 13 now on the
Hawks'
season.
fourth goal was by number 5, Jay Souza, assisted by number 15, Luke Lewis. Time of that goal, 14-10, first period.
No such thing as secondary assist today, I think. Just one assist given out there to Luke Lewis. Picks up his 3rd assist of the campaign. Souza with his 2nd goal and his 3rd point. And now to answer a question that you had, John, the games that are mid-watch versus mid-watch, those are going to be league games. So the game that we'll have later on tonight will be a mid-watch C game. And then whoever Hudson plays, since Leominster and LAS are both in the mid-watch C, those will both be league games as well. Players tumbling down, going for that puck. 20 seconds to go in the first period of play. Edie on the right side will be pinned against the boards by GNA. Stick is going flying there. That came out of the hands of GNA. Bulldogs just throw it down ice. Didn't gain the red line there, so icing will be called. Penalties now up to Trahan and to O'Malley. They served their 2 minutes and a little extra for good measure, because it's the first stoppage after 2 minutes that you're released when it's a penalty that doesn't go on the board. Faceoff will come to the right of Aiken. Don't think it was a properly taken faceoff. We'll have to do it again. Here, George Piandis barking out instructions for switching up the position of the players on that final opportunity for Hudson, but not able to get one more on target. At the end of one period of play, Hudson has a 4-1 lead.
If you just look at the live on ice between the whistles play, I think Coach Piandis has to be very happy with what he's seen from his Hawks here in this first period. Obviously 4 goals, they got the lead, had it taken away from them, tied it up, and then went right back, scored 3 unanswered, take a 4-1 lead into the locker rooms. However, in that last stoppage, Dan, in addition to coaching up his defensemen, trying to get them to switch right before the faceoff, he also just pointed at one player and said, "Hey, stop." There is some, I think, frustration on both sides just with the level of physicality after the whistle that we've seen. A lot of pushing and shoving from both of these teams.
We've already seen 3 roughing calls for stuff that was happening away from the puck. And you know, for these officials, it's one of these things they want to try to nip in the bud early. You don't want that to grow into something far, far worse down the line. You don't want to get to the point where you have to start handing out misconducts or even worse.
Certainly don't want it to get out of hand in that regard, but getting back to the on-ice element from Monty Tech Fitchburg's perspective, you don't want the scoreboard to get out of hand either. The Bulldogs were able to get on the board, get back into this game, made it 1-1 early in the first period, but they've conceded 3 in a row, and really since that goal by Monty Tech Fitchburg, Dan, opportunities for the Bulldogs have been few and far between.
I would say coming into this game, based on returning players and the like, Hudson definitely has a market advantage. They've got a number of players who have been with this side for the last few years. This is a Hudson team that was a state semifinalist last year, too. We should also remind you that Jordan Souza, a junior who already has broken 100 points in his career, he's got 3 points already in this contest. It has shown himself to be quite the game breaker for Hudson.
He has really made a mark on this one. The task for the Bulldogs will be to stop Souza and make up a 3-goal deficit, but they do have 2 whole periods to do it. So folks, don't go anywhere. Still plenty of hockey to come. It is Hockey Night in Fitchburg here on FATV. Back here at the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University. John Gugerty, Dan Bolak with you as we get ready for the second period of this first of 2 semifinal games in the Mark Bushnoe Memorial Tournament, hosted, of course, by Lunenburg Air Shirley here at the Wallace Civic Center. A tremendous event, Dan, now 20 years since its inception.
Indeed, this tournament named after Mark Bushnoe, who was a assistant coach for the Blue Knights until his untimely passing in 2000 at the young age of 39 from heart failure. And they hold this tournament in his memory and have done so for 20 years now. And it's become basically a staple up here in North Central Mass.
Monty Tech Fitchburg, Lunenburg Air Shirley, and Leominster always taking part, along with a 4th team that rotates roughly every year. This year the Hawks of Hudson have come to join in the Bushnoe.
Yep, they were here last year. They won the title last year too. And so yeah, every couple of years or so they'll switch it up a little bit. It's funny how we were talking about in the past, the 3 regular teams were all in the same league for so long, and the 4th one was often from a different league. But now, with the way that things shuffled around for this particular year, Monty Tech Fitchburg is the odd one out in that they're the one that's not from the Midwatch.
The other 3 teams in this Bushnoe tournament, not just part of the Midland-Wachusett, but as part of the C division. Lunenburg Air Shirley, Leominster, and Hudson all in the same division. Monty Tech Fitchburg, the only representative of the brand new CMAC. Teams have switched sides. Monty Tech Fitchburg going right to left. They are wearing the dark red and white uniforms. Bulldogs win the faceoff as we get ready for the second period. Controlled at the far side by Matt Daniels. Clears the blue line, passes it ahead to Grant. Dylan Grant sends it back behind the net, chased there by Devin Morton. Morton has it for the Hawks. Sends it ahead to Edie. Cross-ice pass for Tommy Chamberlain. Didn't quite get his stick, and it goes for icing. We'll get a face-off less than 30 seconds into this second period.
Shots in that first period, 19-9 in favor of Hudson. Well, that's been one of the challenges for Monty Tech Fitchburg, not only having such a young team of playing 4 incredibly tough teams to open the season. Means you're thrown right into the fire pretty quickly.
Face-off comes to the right of Brandon Garcia. Controlled by the Bulldogs. Shot is blocked. Goes back behind the net. Chased there by Luke Lewis. He sends it along the far side. Kept in at the blue line. Shot deflected. Never got on net. Another shot backhanded and saved. Good job by Garcia to hold on to that attempt from Ben Giannet.
Giannet is one of the leading returners for the Bulldogs this year. Last year had over 20 points on the campaign. He's been one of those veteran presences already wearing an A as a junior.
Another face-off to the right of Garcia, this time controlled by the Hawks. Jordan Souza, 3 points for him in the first period, 2 goals and an assist. Leaves it for Chamberlain, gets back behind the net. Picked up there by the Bulldogs. Out to the blue line, kept in by Lewis. Lewis plays it ahead for Souza. Souza from the face-off circle, takes a shot, save made by Aiken. Comes back to the end line. Down to the blue line, a shot, save made by Aiken. Snatched that one right out of the air, off the blade of Luke Lewis, and he holds for a face-off.
Aiken's got a lot of ball hockey experience, a lot of experience in net over the years growing up. And just a freshman already getting the opportunity to start in goal for the Bulldogs.
He's already faced over 150 shots in his first 4 games as the leading netminder for the varsity Bulldogs. Back behind the Monty Fitchburg net. Battled away by Toby Eady, but finally cleared by Daniels. Daniels sends it all the way down, and that will be icing. It'll come right back down to the Monty Fitchburg end. Bulldogs just cannot clear their own zone right now.
And we know Monty Fitchburg last year, they graduated double-digit players, so that didn't help matters. And then Tucker Watkins, who was the leading scorer from last year, is pursuing junior hockey now.
Colin Bean wins the face-off for the Bulldogs, but only temporarily. Eady wanted the near boards, decides to go behind the net. Now Spinorama comes back behind the net, sends it out to Braylon Massey. Massey can't handle the puck. It's out of the zone. The Bulldogs finally have a clear because the Hawks gave it to them, but they'll take it. Sent ahead for Monty Fitchburg. Dylan Grant gains the blue line, comes back to Grant. Shot by Bean is blocked. Sent back behind the net by Daniels. Pursued there by Caraba and Devin Morton for the Hawks. Now along the far side boards, comes to Tommy Chamberlain. His cross-ice pass finds Eady. 2-on-2, shot takes a deflection, goes up and in! Toby Eady from distance makes it 5-1 Hudson.
It was never the plan, but if you ask him, he'll say he planned it all along for it to go in like that.
That's exactly what I intended. I intended to shoot the puck, have the defender right in front of me block it, have it take a high arcing angle, go up over the goaltender, and sneak into the back of the net. That's exactly what Toby Eady was planning. Why would you think anything else, Dan? Jackson Leader sends the puck into the Hudson end for the Bulldogs. Battled for in the far corner.
24, Toby Eady. Sister number 20, Braden Diodato.
Braden Diodato gets the assist on Eady's goal. It'll be Diodato's second point of the game. He had one of the 4 Hudson scores in period number 1. Puck sent in, think the Bulldogs may have been offside, but they got away with it. Hudson gathers nonetheless. Skated out of the zone by Lewis. He gains the red and the blue. It's 1-on-5 right now. Lewis spins around, finally remembers he has teammates, sends it back to the blue line to Cam McGuire. McGuire lost the handle, however. Jordan Salmon has it. 2-on-1 for the Bulldogs if they hurry. Salmon's pass couldn't find Atkins. It goes back to the back line. Along the near boards now. Some pushing and shoving and extra pushing and more shoving. It was a very physical play in the first period. That's continued here in the second. Puck goes behind the Hawk net. Nick Atkins in the far corner. Pokes it to Samet. Now taken back behind the net. Comes out to Jackson Leader. His shot from the blue line takes a kicked deflection and goes behind the net. I think Nick Atkins tried to give it the little Olay. And as it went along the far boards, it hit a Bulldog on the bench. The officials blow the whistle, kill the play, with 11:14 to play here in the second.
I want to go back to that goal, too. I don't know, what is the opposite of a can of corn?
Knuckleball.
I mean, knuckleball wouldn't be fair. For that one, maybe an ephus.
There you go.
But yeah, if you're Avery Aiken on that one, it's like, that's got to be a terrible feeling when you see the puck pop up in the air and then start to die on you and realize it may not clear the net. And you've got knives on your feet and you can't quite control your body as you're trying to go backwards and try to stop that. That is such a tough thing to deal with.
It's a terrifying moment as a goaltender, isn't it, Dan? Because it's so slow. It's happening so slowly. You can see it happening, and there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Yeah, it's like, it's a matter of being able to contort your body in there, and things like physics get in the way too. It's just the roughest of breaks for the freshman there.
Timmy O'Malley gains the offensive zone, is whacked into the boards. He gets it out to Devin Morton at the blue line. Morton ahead. Michael Melville whiffed on the shot. Comes back to Melville, another chance. He tries the slow one, save made by Aiken. I think if Melville had to do that again, he would go top shelf with it. Now Morton's shot, save made by Aiken. And he'll hang on to it. Hudson more than doubling up Monty Tech Fitchburg. Listen, we're Fitchburg Access Television. I'm gonna try. I mean, shots on goal 24-11 in favor of the Hawks.
And I guess for Aiken too, he's still seeing shots there, just to get a couple more opportunities. Try to flush whatever the last thing is out of your mind and just get on to the next one. So the next most important save is the next one you need to make.
Jordan Samet lost the handle at the near boards. Fought for it center ice.
Hand pass.
The hand pass is indicated. We'll get a face-off toward the Hudson end. Take it all the way down into the Hawks zone. Bulldogs will use the opportunity for a line change. Chris Stefanillo lines up to take this face-off, which will come to the right side of Brandon Garcia. Back out to Leader. His shot takes a deflection, never troubles the netminder. Atkins will send it back behind the net, pursued there by Samet. He can't get the handle, however, and it's skated out of the zone by Mason Bastine. Diodato from the face-off circle left it back for Toby Eady. Eady couldn't get the shot off, comes back to Diodato. His centering pass is intercepted by Atkins. Atkins tries to clear, kept in at the blue line by Ryan Devaney. Back to the far corner, Diodato, another centering pass, another incomplete one. This time he was trying to find Tommy Chamberlain. Bulldogs finally able to clear the zone. Atkins tries to pass it forward to himself, couldn't do so. Samet chases it down in the near side, but it's cleared out by Hudson. Now a chance the other way for the Hawks. Chamberlain skates in on goal, shot, score! Tommy Chamberlain! Make it 6-1 Hudson. And this game is rapidly getting out of hand.
It's been a challenge, all the experience that Hudson has been able to bring back from the state semifinalist last year.
The senior captain, Tommy Chamberlain, gets his first goal of the young season. The Hawks are well on their way to advancing to potentially another Bushnoe championship. Issues on the face-off. They'll drop the puck again. Face-off is won by Hudson. Timmy O'Malley skates in. He's bullied off the puck by Holden Trahan. O'Malley back behind the net. Sends it all the way for Morton. Morton's shot save made by Aiken. Gavin Stone was late to join the play for the Hawks. Now they finally have 5 in the zone. Puck battled before behind the Monty Tech Fitchburg net. Centering pass is picked off by Kyle LeBlanc. Bulldogs will skate the other way with some alacrity. Evan Roberts lost the handle as he crossed over the blue line. The refs say LeBlanc gained the zone first. That's offside. We'll pull the puck out and drop the bucket again. 8:47, second period.
Assistant number 15, Luke Lewis. Time of the goal, 5:14, second period.
Luke Lewis gets the assist on Tommy Chamberlain's goal. For Lewis, that's his 3rd of the season.
2nd assist of the day.
Make it 4th of the season. Out to center ice. Calvin Robinson gets it into the Hudson end, but the Hawks are able to pick it up there. Daniels swing and a miss as he tried to send it back in. He'll chase it down into Monty Fitchburg end. Along the near boards, out to center ice, back into the Hawks zone, and it's gathered there by Morton. Morton plays it right back out to center ice where Daniels has it. His cross-ice pass eventually finds Trahan. Trahan forward to Roberts. Evan Roberts goes back behind him and winds up back on the blade of Trahan. Sent into the zone by LeBlanc. Nobody's there for the Bulldogs, however. Hawks will gather and try to clear. A big hit by Holden Trahan. Hand went up immediately from the referee. Trahan saw an opportunity to launch his body into Ryan Devaney, took advantage of it, and he will be penalized for doing so. So Dan, we saw Trahan serve a penalty earlier in the game that we thought maybe should have been Dylan Grant. No, this one's correct. This one was Trahan. He shouldn't have done that.
He's in the box for the 3rd time in this contest. Now, I don't know if they've straightened out the thing, where he served that penalty that we thought was going to be Grant's, but if it is put in the book that that is his 3rd penalty of the game, well, he's putting himself pretty closer to jeopardy getting thrown out of the game. Actually, I think the standard's 5 now.
Interference, time of the penalty, 7-11.
Shot from the face-off circle, save made by Aiken. Juicy rebound, but the Hawks are unable to take advantage. Will be skated out to fair territory by Cam McGuire. Out to the blue line. Centering pass finds no one in particular. Gathered by Melville, tries a backhand shot, can't do it. Bulldogs are able to clear. Picked up by Luke Lewis. He'll leave it for Jordan Souza. Souza gets ahead to Timmy O'Malley. O'Malley into the Bulldog zone, lost the handle. Turn around and whack it the other way, do the Bulldogs, and they're able to clear the zone. 45 seconds gone on the man advantage. Hawks leading this game 6-1 here just past the halfway point of the 2nd period. Looking to make it 7, and we get a whistle. Cross-check is the call.
It's actually interference. But that was some great moves there by Colin Bean as Michael Melville points to the scoreboard as he skates to the penalty box. But Bean doing a tremendous job on the kill to put the wrench in things there, and then all of what he was doing there to try to get control of the puck. And then from there, he was able to force Melville into taking a dumb penalty. Melville gets called for the interference, and there goes that power play.
Back to 4-on-4 now. Shot from leader, save made by Garcia. Just the 12th shot of the night for the Bulldogs. Daniels takes a shot, that's deflected, goes up into the netting.
Time of that penalty, 8:07.
We'll get a whistle.
2nd period.
6:37 to go here, period number 2. 49 seconds on the penalty to Trahan.
Your attention, please. I have the winning raffle ticket for
just 15 seconds gone
winning ticket
on the
number
4-on-4.
833-5035.
One thing that's particularly interesting is Hudson's had 3 power plays, and none of them have lasted 2 minutes. Because 2 of them have been wiped out on subsequent minor penalties. Darcy makes the save through traffic there. And then the 3rd one ended early when they scored.
It's usually good if you have power plays that don't last 2 minutes, but a couple of penalties wiping them out is not exactly what the Hawks are looking for. Another face-off to the left of Garcia, this one controlled by the Hawks. Skated ahead by Morton, who leaves it back behind him for Edie. Edie is eventually bullied off the puck. Sent back behind the net by Massey. Gathered for the Bulldogs by Matt Daniels. Daniels passes behind his own goaltender looking for Jackson Leader. Leader wasn't quite ready for it, but he's able to handle. Ahead now to Giannet. Giannet gains the zone. He's got 2 Hawks breathing down his neck. He's got to get rid of it. He finally has it taken away from him. Ablaza back out to Leader. Leader tried a centering pass for Giannet, couldn't get there. Daniels gathers his centering pass, finds no one. Back out to Ablaza, he keeps it in at the blue line. Trahan's out of the box. It's a man advantage now for the Bulldogs. But Hudson has it going the other way. Sent in by Edie. Played by Aiken. Toby Eady going 1-on-2. Bulldogs are finally able to clear. Back out to the blue line, sent right back in by Souza. Daniels will gather for Monty Tech Fitchburg. 32 seconds to go on the man advantage now for the Bulldogs. Dumped into the zone by Timmy O'Malley. Jackson Leader will chase it down. Chance for Monty Tech Fitchburg to make something on this power play. They do have a 2-on-2 developing down the other end. Skated in by Ablaza, and he loses the handle. It's picked up by Lewis. Sent back behind the net, 10 seconds now on the penalty. Comes out to Leader. Leader sends it ahead for Dylan Grant. Turns around and takes a shot, and Brandon Garcia's probably faced tougher shots.
It's always a nice feeling when you're a goalie and you see a puck coming in and it's like, I don't even have to move.
Just, oh, that was right where I was holding my glove to begin with.
I've had the shots where someone shoots through traffic and I never see it, but it ends up right in my glove. I close it, it's like, hey, I got it.
Had it all the way, coach. Back to even strength now. The Hawks bring a fifth skater back out onto the ice. 4:40 to go here, second period. Hudson leads 6-1. Back behind the Hudson net. Whacked into the boards is Luke Lewis, but he's able to maintain possession and clear the zone. Comes out to David Money, who loses the handle. Timmy O'Malley skates in after it. Captain turnaround centering pass, shot save made by Aiken. I don't think Souza was ever able to fully handle it. O'Malley now to Souza. Spins around in the corner. Doesn't want to get rid of it, he'll keep it himself. Centers from the blue line, takes a deflection off the stick of Melville and goes to the side of the net. Now back out to Lewis at the blue line, he skates in, shot goes over the net. Gathered on the far side by Dylan Grant. He's able to clear the zone, but no more than that. It's picked up once again by the Hawks. Lewis along the near side boards, and that one goes into the Hudson bench. Heads up in front of us, so we get a stoppage. It's always a little bit dicey, you know, Dan. We're on the visiting side here at the Civic Center. When it's a particularly raucous crowd, it can feel like a hostile environment.
I will say a lot of Hudson fans making the trip up. Only about, 40 minutes away?
That sounds about right. Yeah, you hop on 495, you get off on 117. It's doable. Unable to keep it in at the blue line was Ethan Joseph. He sends it for Leader. Jackson Leader ahead to Stefanillo. Stefanillo gives it off to Samet. Samet takes a shot. Save made by Garcia. He just whacked it away from him, and it goes up into the net. We'll get another stoppage with 3:27 to go here in the second. I will say, the folks coming from Hudson had a shorter drive than anyone who happened to come from Osage West Springfield.
Yeah, that'd be the case.
Face-off controlled by the Hawks. They're able to clear the zone. 2-on-1 for them if they hurry down the other end, but good defensive work by Jackson Leader. Nips that in the bud. Late offside against Hudson, so Monty Tech Fitchburg is able to clear the zone. Back out to neutral ice. Leader sends it ahead for Nick Atkins. Atkins was skated into the far corner. Take a shot, save made by Garcia. Good rebound opportunity for Monty Tech Fitchburg. They were unable to capitalize. Back across to the other side, and a shot and a save made by Aiken. That came off the stick of Tommy Chamberlain.
Now, you mentioned the trip from West Springfield to here, but I can tell you a lot of Western Mass teams have to make trips to West Springfield because the Olympia Ice Center's there. 3 ice hockey rinks, you know. A lot of schools out in Western Mass call that facility home.
It's a good place. Into the far corner, now back behind the Monty Tech Fitchburg net. Daniels unable to clear. Gathered by Lewis. He sends it ahead for Timmy O'Malley. O'Malley's cross-ice pass finds Stone, who took a shot. Goes over the net and behind it. Cleared out all the way down. No icing is called. It's a race to the puck. And the Hawks win it. Pass to clear, however, was intercepted. Hudson finally is able to clear with 2:10 to play here in the second period. Michael Melville back to Souza. Sousa's been fairly quiet in the second period. Now takes a shot, save made by Aiken. To be honest, Sousa hasn't seen that much ice time. With a 5-goal lead and a game tomorrow, that's probably a decent idea. Sousa sends it ahead, save made by Aiken. Another dangerous rebound. No one there to capitalize for Hudson. Puck bounces off the stick of Sousa. It's cleared out and flipped into the stands. We'll get another stoppage.
One thing to keep our eye on with the 5-goal lead is 6-goal lead after 2 periods of play invokes the mercy rule. So obviously, Monty Tech Fitchburg's going to be doing their darndest to try to keep Hudson off the board the rest of the game.
Keep it to 5 if you can start cutting into that lead. There is still time for the Bulldogs. But from the Hawks' perspective, I wonder if at some point you do start doing a little bit of load management, knowing you've got a game tomorrow with what looks like something on the line. Who's puck battled for behind the Hudson net. Jackson Stubbart going into it with Diodato. Diodato loses his stick. Now he's whacked by Bengiane. Diodato's not had a very good couple of minutes. Hawks are able to clear, but they do so illegally. It's icing, and Monty Tech Fitchburg will get an offensive zone face-off in the final minute of this second period.
Shots in this period 14-7 in favor of the Hawks, and of course outscoring the Bulldogs 2-0. That seems about right.
Yeah, in the early stages of this period, Hudson really seemed like pedal to the metal, let's blow these guys out. And then once it became a 5-goal lead, I don't want to say they've taken their foot off the gas, but they're not blowing through any stop signs now. Puck along the near boards, sent back into the Monty Tech Fitchburg zone. Stop me if you've heard this before, but it was done so illegally. Monty Tech Fitchburg will have an offensive zone face-off with 48 seconds to go here in the second period.
You just see, forcing the icing, see if you can win a draw, see if you can get a shot or two, try to will your way back into it.
This face-off won by Hudson. Sousa gets it into the Monty Tech Fitchburg zone, but it's picked up there by Jackson Leader. Leader sent it ahead to Stubbart. Stubbart didn't have any support. Now a chance, nope, a whistle.
Offside.
Monty Tech Fitchburg looked like they had a good scoring opportunity, but there's a reason for that. They were offside.
Yep. Now Blazo was well into the zone. Giannet saw the puck fall right in front of him. It's like, do I even touch it at this point? Because I know it's going to be a whistle once I do. Whatever.
33 seconds to play here, second period. Faceoff is whacked far away from where the puck was dropped. Sousa comes and gathered. His centering pass finds Timmy O'Malley, and O'Malley finds the back of the net. Well, Dan, we said that Hudson maybe wasn't going full force for the last few minutes there, but all it takes is one quick moment of brilliance. I think that centering pass from Sousa counts.
Sousa's done very well with the distribution of the puck, and second time he's found O'Malley for a sharp one-timer, and not really much you could do if you're Aiken.
It's a tremendous pass. Sousa had all of his momentum. Now another chance for Hudson. Nolan Vasile skated in on net. Aiken was able to cover this one up. But again, Dan, Sousa was coming down the right side. He had all of his momentum taking him into the corner. Basically whipped around and fired a centering pass. He found Chamberlain right on his stick. Chamberlain just had to put it home, and he was able to do so. Sorry, not Chamberlain, Timmy O'Malley was the goal scorer that time. Final moments of play here in the second period. Once the clock starts rolling, which it will, presumably. Loose puck in center ice. Now we're counting time. We got an extra 15 seconds of hockey here for you. It's fun. It's good sport. We enjoy watching and calling it. Sent into the offensive zone by Daniels, but there will be no time left. That is the end of the second period. Hudson leads 7-1 as we head to the locker rooms again. And as you said, Dan, that means that mercy is now declared.
That means that the third period, it's going to take 15 real minute 15 minutes of real time in the third period. But Hudson gets 3 goals. Toby Eady on a strange one, and then Tommy Chamberlain and Timmy O'Malley each getting on the board with sharp one-timers, or basically just beating Aiken to the far side post, and not really a whole lot you could do about it if you're him. Just a challenging second period in that regard. Shots now 35-15 in favor of Hudson.
I realized, Dan, the Hawks only, air quotes around, only scored 3 goals in this period as opposed to the first. But this second period, I think, really showed the difference just in where these two teams are. You mentioned Hudson's state semifinalist last season returned a number of players. Monty Tech Fitchburg graduated a number of players. They are dealing with, the players are dealing with a new head coach. I realize it's an assistant coach they're familiar with, but there is an adjustment period there to be sure. It's been a challenging start to the season for the Bulldogs, and they're just not in the same place right now that Hudson is. And I think we saw that difference really play out here in the second period. So, folks, come on back for the third period here, and we do have the other semifinal game. Plenty of hockey still to come here on Hockey Night in Fitchburg on FATV. Back here at the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University. We're getting ready for the third period of this semifinal match in the Mark Bushnoe Memorial Tournament. I'm John Gertie, joined by Dan Bolak. Dan, Hudson leads Monty Tech Fitchburg by a score of 7-1. That means this third period will be a quick one.
Yep, we expect 15 minutes of real time to be all there is, as the mercy rule put in by the MIAA a couple of years ago mandates a 10-goal lead after 1 period of play, or a 6-goal lead after 2 periods of play mandates the running clock. This will be the second time this season that Monty Tech Fitchburg has had to deal with the dreaded running clock. They got mercied against Drake and Tingsboro.
Also the second time that Hudson has put it to another team. Back on December the 17th, they beat Gardner 8-1.
And Gardner is also a team like Monty Tech Fitchburg who graduated all of their goaltending and have nothing but freshmen on the team. So there's some growing pains all around, and in the next contest we're going to see another team who graduated all their goaltending. In Leominster's case, they had 1 goalie, and he was a senior last year.
It still counts as all.
Yeah.
1 out of 1 is 100%.
Yep. Monty Tech Fitchburg had 3 goalies. Easton Minardi, Owen Richard, and Matt Daigle, who were all seniors last year, as Avery Aiken, the freshman, makes another save there. His 29th in the contest. That one whistles high over the net, but stays in play. On the near side, here is Souza, kept control of it. He's still looking for a hat trick, but he's willing to pass it across. Doesn't go anywhere through the slot. Second effort there following on by Braylon Massey ends up going wide of the net. Now set back across. O'Malley settles it down, fires and scores. There is a hat trick completed there, but it's not Souza's. It's Timmy O'Malley, who gets his 7th goal of the season. Makes it 8-1.
Souza and O'Malley in the early days of this season have really been putting the points on the board.
And to create further frustration for the mid-watch the rest of the way, these guys are juniors, so still another season that Hudson will have them at their disposal.
And they're only getting better.
We already
Number 18, O'Malley. That's his 3rd goal of the game, assisted by O'Tree and Vasile. Time to go 108, 3rd period.
Did you pick up who got that second assist? Because I sure didn't.
I thought he said 28, but that was Bryce Cutter, an 8th grader. I don't think it was him.
I don't think it was him either. I'm thinking probably Melville. I'm going to give it to Melville.
That sounds reasonable.
23 and 28 are pretty similar. Got a shot there.
Sure.
Aiken makes another save on that. So 12:40 and counting to go. Talked a little bit in the first period about how Cody Ablaza is continuing a long-running tradition for Monty Tech Fitchburg, and that is the long-running tradition of players who played as an 8th grader for Gardner. Basically, over the last decade or so, Monty Tech Fitchburg has always had exactly one player who's done it. Kyle Gendron filled that role for the last 4 years. He played as an 8th grader for Gardner, then played freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year for Monty Tech Fitchburg, and before that, Spencer McCrillis. So yeah, this would be the 9th year that this has been a thing.
It's a fine, upstanding tradition.
Yep.
We need more traditions in our life.
It's funny, it's always exactly one because Spencer McCrillis, as he graduates, his senior year was Kyle Gendron's 8th grade year at Gardner. As a shot from deep in the right side from Chamberlain goes wide of the net. And just as Gendron graduates, Ablaza comes in as a freshman. And, all possible because, Gardner's an 8 through 12 school, so you can use 8th graders on that team. And for Monty Tech Fitchburg, they serve so many communities around here. It is a perfectly reasonable thought that someone would play for the Gardner team as an 8th grader and then decide they want to go to trade school. And so then they come to Monty Tech, and they just slot right in.
Again, it's a wonderful tradition. It's Christmas. Christmas is a time of traditions.
Here is Souza. He still wants that hat trick, I think. He's got himself an opening. He's got himself a shot. Avery Aiken's got himself another save, though.
We've got ourselves a net that's off its moorings, and I don't think the referees have noticed.
What's funny is in higher levels of play, you don't have to blow the whistle immediately when the net's off. You can just leave it there, and if the puck goes in the net and the officials adjudicate that, it would have gone in if it had been in its normal position anyway, they could just give the goal anyway. That's actually something the NHL officials have been doing a little more in calling consistently, as Souza tries to get that settled on his stick and had trouble doing so. Now a shot from the point, stopped by Aiken. He's able to jump on that rebound.
Saw it. Aiken.
Go ahead,
Dan.
So we saw a goal. I remember it was a Minnesota Wild Nashville Predators game where UC Saros and the Predators had the net knocked well off its moorings in overtime, and the Wild shot it through the paint in the area where the net would have been, and they awarded the goal. There's another save there by Aiken on the shot from Diodato, who's just a freshman. Put up some pretty good numbers last year for the Hawks. You had a point, John, earlier that I cut you off from, so I'll give you the opportunity here.
I've already forgotten it.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, I know.
Well, here's Diodato. Remember seeing him as an 8th grader last year playing really well for the Hawks. Hudson's an 8 through 12 school, and Tohonto's a 6 through 12 school, so this team can use 8th graders without having to ask anyone for permission.
You see, the beautiful thing about the way my brain works, and listen, if you want to put air quotes around the word works, I understand. But the beautiful thing about the way my brain works is that if a thought doesn't come out of my mouth, it's gone forever.
Reminds me of that Mitch Hedberg joke, where if you wake up in the middle of the night with a great joke, you gotta hope there's a pen and paper nearby, because if there isn't, then you have to convince yourself that whatever you came up with isn't funny.
Wasn't that good anyway, yeah.
9 minutes to go in regulation time. It is a 7-goal lead for Hudson. They're well on their way to their 2nd win of the campaign. Both these teams, as we mentioned, starting their seasons against very challenging opponents. So that kind of played into the record being where they are. But Hudson is definitely going to be another one of those teams to keep our eyes on in Division 4, and especially battling for the Midwatch C. And they've got a great matchup coming up tomorrow, whether likely against Lunenburg A or Shirley, but Leominster can do things too. We'll see how that goes in the back half. Jordan Samet backhands it into the zone behind the net. Gavin Stone around to the near side. Leader tries to backhand it, wanted to find Stefanillo, get that Red Raider connection going there. Wasn't able to do that. That comes all the way down. Ethan Joseph, he's a freshman. He's played a little bit of junior hockey, but he's a freshman. I imagine the freshmen at Monty Tech are all going to be finishing up their exploratory probably in the next week or so. Figure out what trade they want to do. Nick Atkins for Stefanillo. His shot is blocked. Toby Edie backhands it down the ice. Joseph. Edie tries to intercept. Jackson Leader wearing the captain's patch for the Bulldogs. Only fitting the man they call leader, literally, is the leader of the team.
Score one for nominative determinism.
Now past the halfway point in this third period. A lot of free-flowing action in this frame. Very few whistles. Stefanillo bring it back in his own zone. Back for Leader. Leader looking around, not finding much of anything there. And that'll be dumped back in.
I would say that the free-flowing style of this period means that it's been a faster period than you ordinarily think, but we're in running time. It's been exactly as long as it was going to be no matter what.
It's that type of thing that makes you think, we didn't need those whistles anyway. Now here's Souza. Again, still looking for that hat trick. Doesn't get the shot off, loses the handle on it. Net may have been dislodged before the shot there by Mason Bastine. Yeah, that was what the case was. Aiken is putting it back on its mooring. Clock continues to tick, down to 6:20 to go.
Saw Timmy O'Malley grabbing at his mouth, maybe adjusting the mouth guard there. Thought for a moment that might have been the cause of the stoppage. Now he skates over, help his buddy out with his helmet strap there.
See a number of players for the second game. Lunenburg Air Shirley taking on Leominster in the back half of this doubleheader. One thing I'm noticing is that Lunenburg Air Shirley is going to be wearing the white uniforms, but Jacob Karge has a different jersey than everybody else. His is a different shade of white jersey. It's got the shoulder yokes on it. He's trying to settle that down in front was Bastine, looking for his first points of the campaign. Don't know if that's a harbinger of the future or if that's actually a jersey of time past. Shot from GNA, whistles wide. Daniels, the left point. GNA tries to get a stick on that to change the direction. Monty Tech Fitchburg has not got a shot in this period yet. Still on the 15 they started with. Hudson already has 7 and a goal.
This Monty Tech Fitchburg side, Dan, really is, particularly in the early stages of this season, as they kind of learn how each other work a little bit, as they gel together on the defensive side of the puck, as they're going through that process, they're gonna need their goaltenders, whether it's Avery Aiken or maybe you see Ryder Mallett get some time, but they're gonna need their goaltenders to carry them in the early stages of this season.
Yep. Did notice Mallett didn't dress today, so it's just Aiken for the Bulldogs. That's going to float in there on Aiken. He's a bit slow to drop down there, but he's able to stop it nevertheless. That's also dangerous too when you see a bouncing puck there.
And I would say, Dan, as you know, you have the goaltending experience. When you're in net and you see that puck bouncing in on you, how mindful are you being of exactly where the goal line is when you're going down to stop that? Because he was pretty deep in his net there.
Yep, you know when you're looking down, you can see the paint in front of you, so you have an idea based on where you're positioned in the crease on where you are positioned overall. I mean, I personally would have dropped a little earlier than that, but you know, the weird thing with bouncing pucks, especially, you know, on an ice surface such as this, is that you never know what kind of direction it's going to go in. Maybe you want to wait it out a little bit. There's a shot there from the left side. Daveney not able to get much on it. Luke Lewis off the glass. Now pass to the near side for Vinny Caraba. Now into the far circle, Eli Matuski. Calvin Robinson able to get it out of the zone. All players who didn't get varsity reps last season, not in any of the games I called. Dumped in the zone. Hudson will pick it up. 3 minutes to go in regulation. They lead by 7. Can't really say it's a football score unless we're in Canada. Daveney on the right side.
You could get to 8-1 in an American football game.
No, it's 7-1 you can get to. You can't get to 8. Or 6-1. You can get to 6-1. Oh, you can get to 8-1.
You can get to 8-1, yeah. You get to 6-1 and then you have a safety.
That's what it is. Oh, I'm stupid sometimes. And remember that in the NFL, you could only start getting to 6-1 or any of the X-1s really about a decade ago. Hasn't been possible forever. Here's Chamberlain on the left side with 2:10 to go. His pass will be taken away. Evan Roberts was able to get his stick on that. This may not be the most relevant thing, but it's something that just came to my mind. As Chamberlain gets a shot that's high over the net. Lunenburg Air Shirley also has an Evan Roberts on their team.
Presumably different people.
Different years.
Good sign.
Yep, the Evan Roberts for Monty Tech Fitchburg is a sophomore. The Evan Roberts for Lunenburg Air Shirley is an 8th grader. LAS is an 8 through 12, so again, they can use 8th graders by right. Had that happen a few years ago where I had a game where there was Ryan Johnsons on both sides.
Oh, it's worse when they're in the same game.
Yep, I've done that. We've also had the Andrew Cormiers on the same team with the same middle initial.
1 minute, last minute of play.
When full name basis becomes important for announcing a player.
I think at that point you just give up and go to numbers. Were they the same year too?
Nope, same position though. They're both defensemen. I ended up settling on full name on first reference and then subsequent references is first and middle name. We're in the last 30 seconds. Monty Tech Fitchburg still looking for a shot in this frame. Outshot 8-0 thus far and outscored 1-0 in this third period of action. Souza with 20 more seconds. Get it out to the right point for Morden. He's not able to control it. Get it back to Luke Lewis. 10 seconds to go. He'll just loft it into the zone.
This third period really was a masterclass in defensive, possession-minded hockey by Hudson. They certainly weren't going to press the advantage any further. They knew what they had to do. They did it very, very well, wrapping up an 8-1 win.
A nice, simple, clean 15 minutes of hockey with very few whistles, and to take a well-earned 8-1 victory for the Hudson Hawks, who go to 2-2 on the season. Monty Tech Fitchburg falls to 0-4.
And the Hawks, of course, advance to the finals of the Mark Bushnoe Memorial Tournament. They will play the winner of the upcoming Lunenburg Air Shirley versus Leominster game. That will be the second of 2 games in our doubleheader tomorrow. Monty Tech Fitchburg will also turn around and play tomorrow. They will have a chance to capture 3rd place in this tournament.
That'll be at 2 o'clock, and of course the opponents we won't know for certain until after game number 2 is played.
I think, Dan, Monty Tech Fitchburg, that we said at the beginning, they are a young team. They're a team that's looking to kind of find their footing here in this season. They fall to 0-4 now. It's a long way to go for the Bulldogs.
There's still a lot of time to deal with this, for these players. A lot of youth. There's only 5 seniors on this roster. And there's a lot of time to grow and develop, basically, for these players. And for the first few games of the year, it's been a matter of trying to get things done against pretty powerful teams. They've got a couple of games coming up against teams that might be, a little down. I mean, they could be playing Leominster tomorrow. Leominster is winless right now. Greenfield on Saturday the 3rd is currently winless as well. There are a number of teams that have lopsided records in either direction that they've got on the schedule in the early going of the campaign. But,
Sure.
Iron forges iron and all that, they're getting started against, pretty high caliber sides in Division 4 and above. And then over time, they'll just continue to grow and develop and try to do the best they can.
And we'll have plenty of opportunity to see some of that growth right here on FATV over the course of this season.
Indeed, we've got a number of hockey games that we'll be bringing you as we've got planned. This was one of 7 games featuring Monty Tech Fitchburg that we've got on the docket right now. And we will see how the season develops.
We want to thank Travis Falk, our camera operator and audio engineer and general guy who does everything at FATV, for all of his assistance bringing you this game. Congratulations again to Hudson. The final score for the final time, Hudson 8, Monty Tech Fitchburg 1. We will see you next time right here on FATV.